Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. I've got an email for you today, all the way from India, using words like freshers, which is interesting. I think I know what it means, but I haven't heard of it used too much here in the U.S. But here it goes. This is a good question though. It says, "Hello, John. I'm from Hyderabad. Is it? I think Hyderabad, India. I'm currently pursuing my master's here in computer science stream. I've been following your video tutorials regularly and they're helping me a lot. A big thank you for that. Okay, cool. Um, I love programming in Java and Python. I would like to know how to grab a chance to work as a fresher in these areas because of the most of the companies don't prefer freshers and also a fresh graduate. You don't know which platform you'll be working on when you get into a company. I hardly find any opportunities as a fresher, especially in these areas. So my question is it good to get attached to one technology? My second question is, can we switch over to some other technology after working on one technology for a period of time? I really want to know if our previous experience in one technology counts, as I heard people say that we will be considered a fresher in other technology after making a switch. Also, please tell me if a switch from QA to development is possible and what one can do to make it possible, and also explain automation in the software development sector. Um, so, okay, I'm not going to answer all of these questions, but I'm going to try to answer some of this, or what I feel is the most important part, kind of summarizing this. So there's kind of two things really going on here, which is basically, can is it good to get attached to a single technology and can you switch? Right? That's really what this comes down to. And if you've listened to some of my other videos and heard me talk about how to market yourself and things like that, I always emphasize specializing, becoming a specialist, right? That being a jack of all trades is not as good as being a specialist. And from time to time I get flack about that and say, well, I can do a lot of things. Employers want to see someone who can do a lot of things. But it's really, really not true. When the rubber meets the road, when we come down to it, we almost always all want a specialist. So, is it good to get attached to one technology? That's a little bit of a different question, though, right? Because the thing is, you can be a specialist, but not be attached to a single technology, and that's in fact what I would recommend. So, okay, so it might seem a little contradictory, but if you're starting out, you need to learn one technology, one stack very well and become a specialist in that area. There's plenty of jobs in a specific area. If you go Java or Python and you specialize further in there, you will find jobs in that area, as long as it's not a very, very small community. If it's a tiny community, you might have to be you might just have to take what you can get. You might have to choose your technology based on the companies and the jobs that are there. But in most cases, for example, in Java and Python, there's going to be plenty of companies to choose from, and so your specialization can be smaller, which is going to make you a better match, and that's just going to be better overall. You're going to get better pay, it's going to be easier to find a job, right? These things are going to be good, but that doesn't mean you should be attached to that technology, right? If you're starting out, learn it good, specialize there, but be willing to switch and to learn new things as things come up and the situation changes. Right? So, and also as you find that you prefer something else, you're going to get a base knowledge that is going to carry over. You're not going to start off as a fresher in a new technology just because you switch technologies later on. Now, I don't advise switching too much, right? Because if you're switching around all the time, it's going to be hard to be seen as an expert and it's going to be hard to pick up that expertise experience. I haven't really taken my own advice. I'm dabbled in everything, right? I've done a lot of different things, but now I'm specialized in helping developers, so not a specific technology. But regardless, I would say that there's certain people that we're all envious of that are like super focused, known as a really, really specialized Ruby on Rails developer. Or, there's some big benefits in those areas where you can have that specialty, and you nail that down. So, again, not to say that you can't ever switch and that you might not want to, but definitely keep that in mind, right? So don't be tied to a specific technology. Don't put all your eggs in that basket and say, oh, I'm always going to be Java specialist whatever, whatever the stack is. I'm always going to do Java, Spring, whatever, and I'm never going to switch, because that's not good either, because that might die out. That might not be the best path to go. Be open and willing to go a different direction. And then, when you switch over to another technology after working in one for a period of time, you're not going to start. You might, have some learning curve, right? But you're never gonna be a beginner again, right? Once you become good at something, you're never going to become a beginner again. But if you do not get good at something, if you're always scattered around, like learning a bit here and never become good at anything, you will always be a beginner. And this is the key difference, right? So learn something, it doesn't matter what it is, and learn it well. Then you'll never be a beginner. And then if you want to switch, you're fine. You're going to start from a much higher place. You won't be instantly switch over to be an expert in some other area, but you won't be starting at the beginning ever again. A lot of people make the mistake of staying a beginner in everything because they never specialize in anything, and so they never develop deep skills and solve hard problems and really get down into the depth of what they're working on. And so, when they switch, they do start over as a beginner. So that might be where a lot of that is coming from. And yes, to give you a quick answer, it is possible to move from QA to development field. If you look at some of my videos, I've actually have a video that really ticked off a bunch of QA people. You just search for it, and you'll find it on the channel. But it does talk about how to do that. Well, hopefully this is helpful to you. Best of luck with finding a job, and just make sure that you learn something well, and you'll be fine. It's don't worry too much about some of these things. If you're putting in good work, you're trying to learn something, and you're putting in your effort, and you're focused on it, you're going to be fine. It really doesn't even matter the technology that you choose, because there's always a lot of opportunities in a lot of different technologies, and if you have to switch, then you switch. Then it's fine, as long as you're not scattered all over the place all the time. All right. Well, if you find this video helpful, please share it, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to you next time. Take care.